Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. And there we go, like clockwork. The Kamala Harris party is already running its course, and the exact questions we expected to start trickling into the public conversation have now started to enter, let's call it the zeitgeist. It's time for Kamala Harris to face a little bit of scrutiny, and obviously that's not so good for any Democrat, and especially Kamala Harris, who's built this entire campaign narrative on a mountain of lies, running away from the public. They plan to do the whole basement Biden strategy, just hide Kamala Harris and spend $300 million on TV ads and internet ads. But it's not going to be enough because a whole lot of doubt and a whole lot of question is starting to creep up and Kamala Harris has to answer for it. The MIA strategy will not work, as even now CNN is putting pressure on the campaign to answer some of the criticisms. Kamala's got a big problem and it's actually a very simple one. She is a huge frickin' fraud. Let me show you guys what I mean by that, but this video is actually brought to you guys by a sponsor, a very special sponsor, so let's play that clip. Can I have your attention, please? This isn't a regular sponsorship. No, today we're partnering up with a very special friend. This video is brought to you guys by Zeducation, a fantastic YouTuber in the space and longtime friend of the channel, basically since the very start back in 2020. Well, today we're celebrating, supporting, and promoting Tyler Zed's amazing new book titled Trailer Park Parable. You can see it up here on the screen, folks, and I have to say I read the entire book from cover to cover, mostly during my travels in Asia and a little bit since I came back. I've been slowly chipping away at this thing, and I have to say it's a fantastic read. I mean, truly a beautiful story of brotherhood, family, overcoming the past, and most importantly and ultimately, triumph. I mean, really a heart-touching, classic American experience, all bundled up in a beautiful, eloquent book. I'm telling you guys, it's a worthwhile read, especially if you watch his YouTube channel, Zeducation. You really get to know the man behind the screen. That's Tyler Zed's Trailer Park Parable, a memoir of how three brothers strove to rise above their broken past, find forgiveness, and forge a hopeful future. Go pick it up in the links in the description below. Let's show our friend support. Now back to the video. Alright folks, so we're back to the video. People are starting to ask the exact questions we were expecting, and while the response from Democrats representing Kamala, let's just say they aren't cutting it.
In the 2020 primary, the vice president praised the defund the police movement, and now she says she doesn't support defunding the police. She called for decriminalizing crossing the border illegally. Now she supports President Biden's policies for clamping down at the border. She supported Medicare for all at one point, eliminating private insurance, and her campaign says she doesn't support that now. She's reversed herself on a fracking ban. What do you think that voters should think when she's reversed herself on several issues just in the last 4 years?
I think that voters should think that she's a human being who learns new things every single day. And has the ability to take the time and effort to hear the concerns of all people. I think that they should be certain that she is a fighter and a leader who's going to do the work on their behalf to ensure that there is an economy that ensures that no one is left behind.
Well, she's just a human being who learns new things. Yeah, sure, she's intellectually flexible. Give me a frickin' break, it's actually the exact opposite. Quite ironically, Kamala Harris isn't a regular human being like you and I. Kamala Harris is a politician. See, humans, we differ on issues, but by the time we're 50, 60 years old, I'd assume that for the most part, you're kind of grounded in your ideals. You've found who you are. When you're a young kid and you don't know much, of course it could be a different story. You could get swept by the ideals of communism and free shit for everyone. Ooh, sounds amazing. A real Marxist utopia. But obviously, eventually, the rust starts to form on these previous polished ideals of what communism can be. You start to see the errors in your way and you have a political correction. That happens at a young age. Kamala Harris isn't having a political awakening at the ripe age of 60. Let's be freaking real. She's a typical establishment, dishonest politician who's frankly a total chameleon. She'll do whatever she's gotta do to get elected, and that means during the primary process, well, be as radical as they come. I mean, all the most crazy things, the kind of things that you would normally associate with someone like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, the most way off the course, off the frickin' cliff leftist nonsense. Kamala Harris will adopt it all during the Democrat primary process, so she can win the blue anon folk and, of course, get all those young radicals enthused that a progressive candidate has finally arrived, and wow, in the form of a woman of color. To the wokies, frankly, that's like the second coming of Jesus. She'll play that role during the primary process just to get that momentum going, and then the moment the general election hits, well, all of a sudden she's no longer radical. She's actually a moderate corporate Democrat. Give me a freaking break. We're just supposed to pretend like all of this doesn't exist.
Yeah, I am radical. I do believe that we need to get radical about what we are doing and take it seriously.
I absolutely am without any question committed to reducing the prison population. I'm not going to commit to a specific number because I want to make sure I can meet it. But I am committed to drastically reducing our prison population.
People who are convicted in prison, like the Boston Marathon bomber, on death row, people who are convicted of sexual assault, they should be able to vote?
I think we should have that conversation.
It is wrong-headed thinking to think that the only way you're going to get communities to be safe is to put more police officers on the street.
Where do you stand on defund the police?
Look, right. So here's the thing. Defund the police. The issue behind it is that we need to reimagine how we are creating safety.
We're not going to treat people who are undocumented and cross the border as criminals. That's correct. That is correct.
What's the argument that now she's changed? She's politically reborn. No, that's a crap argument. Let's be real here. There's two paths. Either she's totally dishonest or completely ignorant and gullible. I mean, make your pick. It's not a good one. Either she's lying or she's just kind of empty-headed and like a tree blowing in the wind. She just kind of goes in whatever direction her political advisors tell her to go because she doesn't know any better and she's just doing politics. I mean, come on. We're not so naive to think that that's the case. Obviously, she's a liar. But the point is that both options are a crap defense. And the media has to go on for the next 3 months defending Kamala Harris, the dishonest political chameleon, who now, of course, refuses to defend herself. And that, by the way, is another narrative that's totally falling apart. It started with Kamala Harris is so good and so competent, the right person for the job. Clearly, they can't defend that. But also another narrative at the time was that Kamala Harris was ready to debate, and Donald Trump was a coward.
Because as the saying goes, if you've got something to say, say it to my face.
He's trying to skip out of the debates, the Democrats said, but anybody paying attention knew that the Democrats were the ones that were refusing to participate in any actual neutral debate event. They essentially set an ultimatum: we're going to do these 2 debates on these 2 days with our rules, and if you don't take that, well, you can take a hike. That was the deal, and if Trump didn't want to play game with that, well, then he was running away from the debate. Give me a freaking break. Well, now, Trump has proposed another debate, which Fox News has agreed to, I think in early September, and Kamala Harris is refusing to show up. No, she's only showing up to Joe Biden's scheduled debate because that's what tough girls who are ready to show up and defend their ideals do. Give me a freaking break. She's running scared, and all the dishonest narratives about her are falling apart as the poorly placed Jenga tower completely collapses. Kamala Harris has an indefensible record. We've seen what happens on the debate stage when she gets challenged on that record. She's built her entire campaign on lies, as she claims that everybody's lying about her. I mean, for Pete's sake, she's still tweeting on nearly a daily basis that Donald Trump wants to pass a national abortion ban. Look at this. This is dated August 4th, 2024. It's literally nothing but lies. My opponent's trying to do a thing that he's not actually doing. Totally dishonest. And then when she gets accused of things she actually did, well, she claims that her opponents are lying about her and that it's not actually true, even though we literally have videos of her saying the thing that people are supposedly lying about. I mean, the whole thing is a mountain, a web of dishonesty, and it's starting to fall apart. People are asking the right questions. Kamala Harris has to defend herself. She clearly can't. She's a far-left radical. She's been rated as such. And if she isn't actually, she's actually a corporate Democrat, well, then it was all just, what, an elaborate ruse, and she's totally dishonest and acts in certain ways depending on what position she's in? Kamala Harris, the San Francisco senator, isn't the same thing as general election Vice President Kamala Harris. Well, what does that tell you? Well, that tells you again that she's a political chameleon. And that right there is being exposed, and I will continue to expose it, because unfortunately in today's clown world, the media won't do its freaking job. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.